My beloved child, stop everything you are doing and listen with your whole heart. What you are about to hear is not gentle and it is not delayed. Today has been marked in heaven and Archangel Michael is not whispering today. This is what he says with holy anger. This message isn't a sign. It's not true for everyone. It is clear, direct, and urgent. Heaven took notice of something you did. You thought something was hidden. Something you thought would go away without consequence. It did not pass, though. The response has now arrived. Pay attention to this. This message will be taken very seriously if you ignore it. This isn't fear. There is mercy in this warning. Many heard the earlier nudges but didn't pay attention to them. A lot of people felt the inner check and chose comfort instead. Today, though, the mood has changed. Archangel Michael takes care of divine order. And when order is broken, correction comes after, not to kill you, but to keep you from killing your own future. You might feel it already. That tightness in your chest and the sudden knowledge that this message is meant just for you. This is not a mistake. Heaven doesn't just pop in out of the blue. You recently made a choice or you are about to make one that goes against what you were shown before. You should have known better. You were warned in a whisper. But you only told yourself that once and heaven wrote it down. Archangel Michael says this mistake is not small. It affects more than you realize. It affects your protection, your timing, and your authority. When you stepped out of alignment, you did not just delay a blessing. You exposed a door that was meant to stay shut. And now heaven is stepping in. Before that exposure becomes permanent damage. Do not misunderstand this message. This is not a ruling of guilt. In this case, intervention. The window is still open, but it's getting smaller quickly. Today is more than a date. It's a line drawn in the air, a checkpoint. If you hear this and then make a choice, either restoration or restriction will happen. Some of you didn't follow a clear instruction because it didn't make emotional sense, says Archangel Michael. Emotions like fear or desire get in the way of your obedience. Because you were tired of waiting, others gave in. You told yourself that God would get it. He does know, too. Being aware of the consequences does not change them, though. Kindness doesn't get rid of order. Pay close attention. Heaven is not mad at you as a person. God in heaven is mad at the pattern. Repetition is when you repeatedly perform the same test and expect a different outcome. Right now, in this very moment of awareness, I want you to ground yourself in agreement with heaven. Archangel Michael says, I was supposed to guard you, but you crossed the boundary I marked. That's why things have felt unstable. That's why peace has been inconsistent. That's why delays have multiplied suddenly. Do more than just listen. Add amen to the comments below. Not just as a word, but as a statement that you are willing to accept this correction. By writing it, you are telling heaven that you are awake, paying attention, and ready to answer. Saying amen should be the first thing you do when you get back. What I'm about to say will tell you what you need to do before this window shuts completely. This message is being sent now because the cost will increase if you keep going in the same direction for even a little while. Some losses can only be stopped before they happen. That's why this sounds very hard. That's why it feels heavy. You are being stopped in the middle of a step. Do not leave. That's not going to work. Just forget about it. This instruction doesn't say when it will happen. This message makes you angry, but it's not rage. It's important. The kind that shows up when someone is about to handle something valuable wrong. You have more safety than you think. But alignment is needed for protection. This error can still be fixed according to Archangel Michael. But the correction has to happen right away and be sincere. There can't be any justifications, half-truths, or spiritual talk without action. Heaven is more interested in what you do after this than in how you feel during it. Some of you already know what this is all about. Something you were told to end. A truth that someone told you to say. Something you were told to stop doing. A delay in a step you were instructed to take. You believed that permission was implied by silence. It didn't. Being quiet took time, and that time has to end. This message isn't meant to scare you away. This is to pull you back. But know this, if you decide to leave now, heaven will honor your choice. When heaven steps back, the lessons get stronger. Do not leave this message. The next part tells you what you need to do before this window closes completely. You have to say the next few words. That's what they say. Dear one, please slow down your thoughts and make sure it's quiet where you are, because this is not a message you should take lightly. The warning you heard was not in a dramatic manner. According to Archangel Michael, heaven is speaking to you with firmness today because softness no longer produces movement. It was like drawing a boundary. You were allowing yourself to drift toward a decision that would have needed a lot more correction later. And now heaven stepped in to stop even more loss. It's not about being scared. This is about where to go. Heaven saw a mistake that wasn't a mistake. It may be hard to hear the truth, but it has to be done. You knew before you went ahead. You could feel the inner resistance. Before you gave a reason for the loss of peace. You felt it, but you kept going, telling yourself that you would fix it later or that God understood why you were doing what you were doing. Heaven understands motives, but motives don't get in the way of order, says Archangel Michael. Alignment can't be negotiated just because feelings are involved. You need to hear this well. Heaven wants to know how aligned you are, not how sincere you feel. Spiritual emotion and obedience are frequently confused. You can really feel something and still be in the wrong place. Because of this, some of you have been praying very hard but have seen little movement. It's not because heaven is far away. The reason is that heaven is waiting for correction before letting go. Archangel Michael tells you that the anger you feel in this message is not directed at who you are. It's aimed at the pattern. A pattern of putting off doing things that you know you need to do. A pattern of picking comfort over obedience. A pattern of telling yourself just a little longer when God already told you it was time. Patterns determine outcomes, and heaven changes patterns before they become set in stone. Before today, there were warnings, but they weren't very loud. Small ones, delays that made you angry. There were interruptions that were bothersome, chances that didn't go through for no reason. Those weren't just picked at. Those were mercy cushions meant to slow you down without putting you at risk. But when mercy is ignored over and over, it's time for correction to become more clear. That's why this message is important. Some of you finally get why things have been feeling bumpy lately. Why there was peace and then none. How come your clarity went away even when you prayed? Why did I lose confidence for no clear reason? According to Archangel Michael, when you repeatedly step outside your assigned boundary, covering weakens gradually. Heaven does not remove protection suddenly, but misalignment creates exposure over time. This message came before the potential cost of exposure became too high. Right now is very important because heaven is giving you a chance to fix things early. Heaven doesn't want you to have to deal with the consequences of continuing to delay for your own sake and for the sake of others who are connected to your obedience. Your alignment has an impact on more people than you can see. Your delay affects other people. That's why this direction feels heavier than the others. Now, there is more at stake. I want you to do something that has spiritual weight right now. Right now, click the like button. It's not just a screen button. It really is an activation. You signal to heaven that you are not a passive observer. When you press like, divine instruction is being received by you. Every like sends out a vibration in the spiritual realm that says, I receive this word. I align with this correction. I am ready for what God is doing. A favor that lets you in. Favor that silences detractors. Favor that speeds up something that has been delayed. Right now, let your light be the switch that makes heaven's help come to you. Don't let shame get into your heart. Hiding because of shame makes things worse because it makes misalignment last longer. But conviction leads to action. Archangel Michael tells her, heaven isn't telling you to punish yourself. It's telling you to be honest. The voice you hear is firmness. That means protection, not rejection. At the moment, one specific area is being shown to you. Not many. A choice you have put off. You ease the boundary. A truth you tried to hide. It's already clear to you. You are causing delay if you claim to be confused. It has already been made clear. Now all that heaven is waiting for is courage. Before we go any further, I need you to make a promise to be honest. In the comments, type I choose alignment over delay. Say it out loud and with your own hands. This is more than a comment. Feel free to press this button to start over. You're telling heaven that you're not going to run away, hide, or make excuses when you write those words. You are taking the brave step that correction needs. Do it now and then read this whole thing. Heaven wants to show you more. As this message reaches you, let it reach other people too. Like this video so that other people who are at the same crossroads can see it. Tell someone who has been feeling pressure inside but can't figure out why. To say that you are choosing alignment over delay, leave a comment. Engaging with this message keeps it alive where it needs to be heard. To stay connected to these timely instructions, subscribe to this channel. And if this place consistently makes your walk stronger, become a member and stand with a group of people who put obedience over comfort. Archangel Michael also says, do not confuse an emotional response with realignment. Being stirred up is not the same as changing direction. Heaven is watching what you do after this message ends. What you say, what you do, what you let go of, what you do. Movement, not feelings, is how alignment is demonstrated. It's now more important to be consistent than loud. Please don't react strongly today and then drift off tomorrow. Patterns, not promises, are what heaven looks for. More quickly than any short-term passion, repeated obedience restores. When alignment lasts, peace stays stable and resistance weakens. If your chest feels tight or your thoughts feel heavy, give it time to work. The truth pushes before it settles. Stay in the present. Keep your door open. Wait a minute. What happens next will show how quickly restoration starts once obedience is restored. You'll want to hear every word. Please take this in a calm way, my dear child, because the tone is changing from correction to consequence and from warning to instruction. This part is not meant to scare you. Archangel Michael says, the moment you choose alignment, heaven does not delay its response. It's meant to wake you up. Laws work whether we are ready for them or not. There is a spiritual law at work. Every assignment has a boundary. And every boundary has protection. According to Archangel Michael, heaven did not immediately take its hand off of you when you went beyond what was expected. It instead watched to see if you would fix yourself. There was time. There was more grace. That being said, grace is not permission to stay out of alignment. It's a chance to get back safely. That's why today is important. It means the observation is over and the response can begin. Some of you have been wondering why the same problems keep coming up even after you pray. Why you keep running into the same resistance no matter how hard you try. Repetition is not an attack, but rather exposure. According to Archangel Michael, it's the same lesson over and over until alignment is chosen. If you refuse to finish a test, heaven will not move you on to the next one. Without alignment, progress leads to collapse in the long run. And heaven stops collapse by making promotion take longer. This is where a lot of people get it wrong about God's patience. It's not passive to be patient. Heaven is getting ready while you wait. Heaven makes changes as you delay. And if you don't listen to correction for too long, heaven lets you feel the weight of your choice, to awaken discernment, not to punish you. That weight you felt recently wasn't from being left behind. It was the stress of not being in the right place. Besides that, Archangel Michael tells you that some doors you thought were closing were actually pausing. They were ready for you to get back into the right posture. As soon as your posture changes, so does your access. This is why obedience is more important than trying hard or trying with all your might. Pay attention to this. Not only does obedience bring back peace, it brings back authority. Changes in environments are caused by authority. Having authority is what clears things up. Resistance moves out of the way when there is authority. While you are delaying correction, authority was lost. Authority returns when you align. This is why heaven is talking to you so directly right now. If you want to walk with authority, don't be afraid. Some of you are starting to understand that the mistake you made wasn't a moral one, but one of spiritual timing. You moved early. You moved after dark. Heaven told you to move forward, but you moved to the side. In the spirit, timing is important. Even doing the right thing at the wrong time can make things more chaotic. Hear this from Archangel Michael. Heaven is realigning your timing now so that what was delayed does not become denied. Remember that heaven is very watching your response to this message. Your words, your feelings, and your movement are all irrelevant. There is no proof of alignment in thought. Follow through shows that it works. Heaven reacts faster to obedience than to tears. It's a good sign if your heart feels soft right now. Being tender means that resistance is breaking down. As pride grows, humility grows. Archangel Michael says, humility today will save you weeks of unnecessary struggle tomorrow. You are at a decisive moment on the path. There is still a window open, not wide, but sufficient. What heaven asks of you now is honesty and decisiveness. No spiritual excuses, no delays dressed as wisdom. Do what you were already told to do. Say what you were already told to say. Release what you were already told to release. The moment you do, you will feel the atmosphere shift. I feel the weight of this moment, and I know some of you feel it, too. You are about to make a choice. I want you to plant a flag in the comments right now before things change again. Type Amen one more time, but make it different this time. Let this Amen be the sound of agreement with the time set by God. It should be the word that kicks hesitation out the door and lets movement in. Write it right now and really mean it. Your obedience is being written down. Before you move on with this message, prepare to receive this activation. In the comments, type I return to alignment. If this message lets you know what your spirit already knew, the blessing code 94 was just made public. This is what I clearly hear the Spirit say. As you have received, let go now. You are not giving money to a channel when you support this mission. You bring light into the lives of people who are on the edge of obedience just like you were. For every seed you plant, another person will get oil for their lamp, clarity for their mind, and courage for their heart. I have to tell you the truth. Now is the time to answer. Not later. Heaven knows that obedience that leads to kindness is a good thing. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission will grow into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Giving to this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-fi community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through hearts that are kind. This is what I say over you now. Each gift you give is like a stream of living water that flows into the life of someone who needs healing. Give and it will be given to you. Is not just a verse for Jesus. It is a living promise that shapes your future. Allow me to invite you now with a simple act of faith. Come into this moment with purpose, with honesty, and with hope. The money you give today is not a donation. The act of spiritual obedience that lets your heavens open is what opens them. Let go of your seed and see what God brings back into your life. Let your spirit settle down as we go deeper, my dear, because what is happening now is about what heaven is getting ready to restore once correction is finished, not the mistake itself. Archangel Michael says, many people focus only on what went wrong, but heaven is focused on what must now be rebuilt correctly. This is why you are still here listening. If restoration were not possible, this message would not continue. The fact that instruction is still being released means heaven has not withdrawn its plan for you. You must understand something vital at this stage. Making changes doesn't mean the end of a season. It makes the difference between summer and fall. One shuts and one opens. What made you feel bad was like a door closing behind you, stopping the distraction from following you. Archangel Michael says, heaven closes doors firmly when it intends to open a greater one safely. You are not being pushed back. You are being repositioned. When someone chooses obedience, something changes inside them. It seems soft at first, but it's strong. Your mind starts to calm down. You move less quickly. Senses get sharper. This is not comfort for the emotions. This is the alignment getting more stable. Archangel Michael says that when alignment comes back, clarity comes back almost right away, because chaos can't live where order is restored. Some of you are already starting to notice this. The weight is slowly lifting. The fear is going away. Questions that were hard to answer are getting easier. That's not making up stories. That's proof that heaven is responding to your prayer. Heaven honors the way your heart turns when it does so sincerely, even before the full correction is done. But Archangel Michael also brings a serious message. Going back to old ways is not what restoration means. You can't fix the alignment and then start over with the same bad habits that made it drift in the first place. For what is restored to work, new rules, boundaries, and attention are needed. Heaven isn't going back in time. It is changing its course. Even if good fortune returns, the future won't look like the past. This is the reason why wisdom is being pushed right now. Knowing something is not the same thing as being wise. The word is application. This correction taught you something you didn't know before. You know what delay costs. The instability of misalignment is something you know. Archangel Michael says, heaven expects that lesson to shape your next decisions. Repetition is not planned if learning is embraced. There's also healing going on below the surface that you might not see yet. You made some decisions under the influence of fear, pressure, or a desire for control. Heaven is now taking care of those roots. Obedience is easier when fear loses its hold, says Archangel Michael. That's why fear is being shown and made weaker. This season you are learning to move from trust instead of urgency. Do not rush the rebuilding process. Alignment results in acceleration later, but wisdom comes first and requires patience. There are steps that need to be taken in a certain order. The foundations need to be made stronger. Truth must be told in conversations. Boundaries need to be followed. Archangel Michael says that what is built slowly will last, while what is built quickly will need correction. Following a correction, you might feel the need to prove yourself or do too much to make up for it. Hold off on that urge. Heaven isn't expecting you to do anything. It's telling you to pay attention. Just as movement before promotion is important, so is stillness after correction. This is where a lot of people fail. They mistake momentum for maturity. Another truth needs to be said right now. According to Archangel Michael, restoration doesn't mean that everyone will understand how you do things. Some people won't understand what you did wrong, and they shouldn't. You and heaven only. Do not ask people who were not there for the instruction to show that they understand. Your thoughts can't back up what heaven has already said inside. As alignment progresses, your discernment of who and what belongs in your upcoming season will become more acute. There will be connections that feel heavier. A few distractions will no longer be fun. This isn't loss. We call this refinement. Archangel Michael tells you, heaven cuts away what gets in the way of purpose, not what helps it. Let go without anger. What is leaving now wasn't meant to move forward. You are now in a stage where obedience feels more natural and less forced. That's growth. Because of the increase in awareness, the inner resistance you felt before will not be as strong. You can now spot the first signs of drift. Being aware of that is protection. Heaven teaches before giving out more. Don't lose sight of what you are learning. Thoughts change. Be careful as you move. It's not a race. It needs to be recalibrated. Teachability is a rare spiritual strength according to Archangel Michael. Those who respond well to correction are often given more authority afterward. Stay with this message. What happens next will show you how heaven confirms restoration not only on the inside but also on the outside, and how to tell when everything is in complete alignment. Please stay alert and don't let being familiar make you lose focus. What is happening in heaven right now is about discernment that must lead you forward. For Archangel Michael, restoration without discernment is temporary, but restoration guarded by discernment becomes permanent. A lot of people are healed, but not many are taught how to stay in alignment. That's why this stage is so important. You are not only being put back where you belong, but you are also being shown how to stay there. Make sure you understand this. The mistake you fixed won't come back in the same clear way. That time of year is over. What comes next will be quieter, less obvious, and stronger. Because of the correction, Archangel Michael warns, tests no longer make a lot of noise. They show up as chances, as reasonable compromises, or as options that make you feel good. With discernment, you can spot misalignment even when something seems fine at first glance. Some of you can feel this change already. You're not as excited about things as you used to be. It's hard to have conversations that used to feel safe. Things that seemed good at first now feel rushed or forced. This is not a mess. This is the awakening of discernment. Heaven is retraining your inner senses so that you don't just depend on your feelings, but on peace that comes from being in alignment. It's better to ask whether something is assigned rather than whether it's allowed. As Archangel Michael says, a lot of mistakes are made in areas that aren't obviously wrong, but aren't right for you. This is a personal matter. What bothers one person might not bother someone else. Discernment teaches you to spot things that take you off track, even if they look good. When it comes to urgency, be extra careful. Urgency often acts like it's important. There is no rush for alignment in heaven. If something forces you to make a choice right away without giving you time to think, pray, or breathe, you should give it some serious thought. Archangel Michael says, heaven leads with clarity, not panic. Stress makes it hard to discern, but peace makes it clear. There will be times when your discernment tells you to be quiet instead of speaking. It will be strange to be quiet at first, especially if you are used to talking. On the other hand, restraint is often a sign of obedience. Not every thought or feeling needs an answer. Archangel Michael says, discernment is not reactive. It is observant. It allows you to see clearly without being pulled emotionally into every situation. As your alignment gets stronger, your inner voice will get stronger, not louder, but clearer. You'll start to tell the difference between fear-driven thoughts and guidance from the spirit world. Stress pushes helpful maps. Anxiety makes you need to act right away. Trust comes from having a plan. For the coming season, it's important to learn this difference. You might notice that discernment changes the way you want things. There will be fewer goals. Some goals will be made better. What this means is not that you are losing interest. It means that your passion is getting cleaner. Archangel Michael says, heaven removes desire that competes with purpose and strengthens desire that aligns with calling. What remains will be stronger and more focused. Boundaries will also be set by discernment. It will be easier for you to say no. You will let go of them faster. You will stop wasting time on conversations and places that used to keep you busy. This is not cashing out. This is smart. Lines keep what heaven is building safe. Restoration leaking without limits. It's normal for discernment to make you feel less close to some people. Alignment often shows differences that weren't seen before. Archangel Michael says, heaven prunes what distracts from purpose, not what supports it. Let go without resentment. What leaves now is making room for what belongs. Not out of fear, but out of clarity. This season also calls for strength and discipline. Discrimination is improved by spending time in stillness. Prayer calms people down. A disciplined inner life creates stability even when external circumstances change, says Archangel Michael. When your inner world is ordered, chaos loses its power over you. Look for patterns. Over time, discerning grows through observation. Pay attention to what consistently makes peace and what consistently breaks it. Pay attention to what helps you focus and what distracts you. God talks to us more through patterns than through moments. There may be emotional times. Patterns show what is real. You won't get everything right at the start. And heaven doesn't expect everyone to be perfect, but you will get better faster if misalignment happens. You'll notice faster. You'll get used to it faster. That's progress. It takes less time to heal. And faster healing keeps damage from getting worse. Trust what you're feeling inside. Being discerned is not a big deal. It's a calm confidence. It means being aware of when to act and when to wait. Being aware of what is for now, later, or not at all is what it means because it keeps what heaven has given you safe. Archangel Michael says, this discernment is one of the best gifts of restoration. Stay in the present moment as this happens. What comes next will show you how peace, stability, and external confirmation from heaven confirm your discernment and how you will know when restored authority is fully active in your life. My beloved, stay grounded and pay attention because those who have been restored must hear what heaven has to say now. Archangel Michael says, restoration always carries responsibility, and responsibility always brings a higher level of awareness. You are no longer standing where you once stood. The correction you received moved you into a different position. And with that position comes expectation. This is not pressure meant to overwhelm you. It is trust being extended again. A change takes place after alignment that a lot of people don't notice at first. Innocence frequently served as a buffer before correction. After correction, choices are given a different amount of weight. You now see things more quickly. You can feel misalignment more quickly. You feel like the peace is weakening faster than before. This is not fear-based sensitivity. It is discernment sharpened by experience. You have learned what drift feels like, and heaven will not let you unlearn that awareness, says Archangel Michael. Being serious doesn't mean being heavy. Clarity is what it is. Heaven is telling you that things that used to seem casual can't be taken lightly anymore. Now, even small choices have more influence. Your environment is shaped by what you can handle. Little by little, what you ignore grows. Making small hidden decisions is where responsibility starts long before it is put to the test in public. Now, we're going to talk about stewardship. Control over your thought patterns because what you think about most of the time shapes your life. Time management as distraction is one of the quickest ways to lose alignment because not everyone should have the same amount of influence in your life. Stewardship of access is important. Archangel Michael says restoration gives access again, but responsibility keeps an eye on it. Without guarding access is easy to abuse. You may have noticed that chaos makes you feel less at ease than it used to. Chaos wears you down faster. You are more irritated when you are confused. Your spirit has been aligned with the right way to do things. What used to be okay now seems like a bother. Don't fight this change. This pain is not a sign of weakness. We call it refinement. Heaven is teaching you to value peace as something important, not just a nice thing to have. Following rules is very important right now. Not harsh punishment, but structure that is meant to work, clear boundaries, simple routines, and honest self-reflection. These are not restrictions intended to take away from happiness. They are supports that are meant to keep it up. You should be careful of the temptation that often comes after restoration, says Archangel Michael. Freedom without structure becomes fragile, but freedom supported by discipline becomes stable. The urge to push the limits. There is more confidence. Things become clearer. Then you start to consider how close you can get to the edge without suffering a consequence. There are a lot of people who get stuck in correction cycles here. Archangel Michael cautions that humility is what maintains authority. Respect must always go hand in hand with confidence. If you feel the weight of this responsibility and know that your choices now have more weight than they did before, I want you to make a promise right now. In the comments write, I guard my alignment with responsibility. This is not a perfect prayer. They are saying what they plan to do. You are telling heaven that you know how important this stage is and that you will not take your restoration lightly. Write it now in your journey. Let it serve as a boundary. Next, stay with me because what I'm about to say shows how heaven confirms responsibility by showing favor. But there will also be times when responsibility makes you feel alone. Being aware of something can make you feel separate, not because you are better than other people, but because your choices are now based on different standards. Do not take this to mean isolation. It's common for heaven to cut down on noise so that clarity stays strong. Try to connect with others. But don't give up alignment to feel like you belong. What you are learning right now shouldn't be kept secret. Even if you don't realize it, others are watching your response. If this message hits close to home for you, if you feel like these words were not chosen at random, but were meant to be a part of your journey, then subscribe to this channel right away. Pressing that subscribe button isn't just a nice thing to do. A prophetic act has taken place. Subscription is agreement with ongoing purpose. It is you telling heaven, I am placing myself in the flow of continuous instruction. I am not walking away from alignment. I am staying connected to the voice that corrects, restores, and positions me. You will be locked into the prophetic promises God has made for this season. When you subscribe, a testimony without words is how you deal with correction, responsibility, and restoration. Do something that brings breakthrough, not only for yourself, but also for someone you care about. Share this video. Someone in your circle who has been lost, having a hard time, or on the verge of correction should receive it. Share doesn't just mean sending something to someone else. As the anointing flows through you, you become a conduit. The word that wakes you up will also wake them up. The clarity that reached you will also reach them through your obedience. Sharing starts a transfer. Breakthroughs go from your account to theirs. Which is why it's important to respond to this message. Help this video reach more people who are just on the edge of awareness by liking it. Share it with someone who needs to be gently corrected and is still looking for confirmation. Say in a comment that you're choosing responsibility over not being careful. To stay connected to messages that strengthen alignment, subscribe to this channel now. This place should always feed your spirit. If it does, become a member and walk with a group that values obedience, growth, and accountability. You are also reminded by Archangel Michael that responsibility does not entail carrying out all tasks by yourself. Wisdom asks for advice. Accountability makes alignment stronger. Voices that you trust can help set limits when your emotions try to blur them. When you're in heaven, godly connections can help you see yourself more clearly. Peace increases as responsibility increases. You might be surprised by this. In the minds of many, responsibility means stress, but it brings stability to the spirit. When people know what to expect, confusion is less likely to happen. When there is a clear direction, anxiety goes away. This season is not a time to rush, says Archangel Michael. Clarity is a form of rest that many never experience because they resist responsibility. Allow new habits to become ingrained. Let the lines between us become natural. Let being aware turn into instinct. That's not what this is about. It has to do with being responsive. When misalignment occurs, you will be able to fix it faster, which will stop further consequence. Pay attention to what is happening right now. Do not let your thoughts or feelings drift. Hold on, because what follows demonstrates how heaven confirms responsibility through visible favor and how restored authority begins to influence your environment in ways you didn't anticipate. Things start to change on the outside here and you'll want to see it happen. My beloved child, stay fully present and don't let your mind drift, because what heaven is showing you right now is about momentum and how easily it can be lost if it isn't protected with wisdom. Archangel Michael says, many people find alignment, feel restoration, and feel relief, but then they think the journey will continue on its own. This belief has quietly undone more lives than open rebellion ever did. Momentum is a gift and a responsibility at the same time. You need to protect what heaven has brought back into your life on purpose, or it will slowly drain away after taking on more responsibility. There is a delicate period where progress starts slowly. It's not yet the time for big breakthroughs. Peace gets stronger. Clarity stays the same. The direction feels more stable than before. These small changes are simple to miss. And this is where impatience often rises. Impatience at this stage is dangerous because it tempts you to rush what heaven is stabilizing. Acceleration before grounding creates imbalance. Heaven builds slowly so that what grows will last, says Archangel Michael. You might reflect on what might have been, what caused the delay, or how much further along you ought to be right now. If you think this way, Archangel Michael warns you your focus will be pulled backward instead of forward. Heaven isn't asking you to make up for delays. Now, it's telling you to stay aligned. Speed doesn't bring back the future. Consistency brings it back. The fact that correction was real is shown by consistency. At this stage too, new distractions try to come back, but they won't look like the old ones. They will look sensible, useful, and even spiritual. Overcommitting will look like having a purpose. Being emotionally available to everyone will look like compassion. Continuous activity will look like progress. Be aware of your energy. As Archangel Michael says, discernment must now guard momentum, because even good things can become harmful if they pull you out of rhythm. Not just being physically tired, but also spiritually worn out. Pay attention to what drains you without making you stronger. Take note of what gets you excited for a short time, but then leaves you feeling lost. Focus is what keeps momentum going. And focus can't last through endless division. Heaven wants you to learn to value depth over speed, presence over pressure, and obedience over how you look. At times, both silence and waiting will seem like they aren't getting anything done. Don't accept that interpretation. It's often in silence that you can hear yourself better. Waiting is often where strength builds up. Archangel Michael says, heaven does some of its most important work in stillness, not in motion. Do not mistake quiet seasons for empty ones. What is being formed internally will soon support visible movement externally. As momentum grows, confidence will grow. Being confident is good, but it needs to be based on humility. Keep in mind how misalignment felt like to stay aware, not to live in fear. Being aware keeps confidence in good shape. Archangel Michael says, humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking clearly about your dependence on divine order. You might notice that you can't stand as much noise as you used to. There's more drama. Arguments don't make sense. Distractions cost money. This is not cashing out. This is making the focus sharper. Heaven is giving you less to look at so that momentum can stay strong. Don't try to stop the narrowing from happening. Things that don't belong in your next season will naturally fall off. Right now is also a good time to keep your inner agreements safe. What you agree with inside affects how you act in the outside world. Do not agree with ideas that question alignment without proof. Do not believe stories that hurt progress or bring up old fears. Archangel Michael says, inner agreement determines outer movement. Guard your mind with the same seriousness you guard your actions. A lot of people get the wrong idea about strength when they think about momentum. Resting is not going away. Rest is a way to reset. Momentum will collapse under its own weight when rest is ignored. Archangel Michael says that rest was meant to be a part of movement, not something that got in the way of it. Take time to pause, think, and start over. As momentum starts to show, you may run into resistance. Your clarity doesn't help everyone. Some people didn't mind that you were confused. Some places like it when you're not consistent. Resistance often shows up when alignment gets stronger. Do not think that resistance means you are wrong. Find where it came from. In the words of Archangel Michael, resistance often appears when order confronts disorder. Remain steady. Do not react emotionally. Do not over-explain. You can't defend momentum with arguments. It is safe because it is consistent. Over time, alignment speaks louder than words. Fruit is a better way to silence doubt than words ever could be. Keep an open mind at this point. You might think you don't need instruction when you're in a hurry. That thought stops growth very quickly. Archangel Michael says, teachability keeps momentum flexible, not rigid. When heaven needs to, it can easily change direction without any resistance because it is flexible. Pay full attention to what's going on. Things are moving faster even though it seems quiet. Don't hate progress that comes slowly. What heaven is becoming right now is steady, not flashy. What comes next will show how this momentum starts to make changes that you can see both inside and outside of you. Keep your eyes open because the next reveal will show that alignment wasn't just temporary but actually changed things. My beloved child, pay close attention now because what heaven is letting out at this point has to do with separation and confirmation. Archangel Michael says this is the point where alignment starts to show up in the outside world as well. Up until now, a lot of the work has been done on the inside. Correction, awareness, discernment, responsibility, and building momentum. Now though, heaven starts to confirm what has been changed, and confirmation always means separation. This is where a lot of people feel uncomfortable, because confirmation shows what doesn't belong anymore. You need to fully grasp this. When heaven confirms alignment, it does more than just bless. It also tells the difference. What is lined up naturally rises. Misaligned things start to feel like they don't belong. This isn't because heaven is harsh. It's because the truth makes things different. Light doesn't argue with darkness. It shows it, says Archangel Michael. Contrast increases as your alignment gets better. Some of you have seen this already. Things that were neutral before now feel heavy. What used to be easy conversations now feel tense. Some people just seem far away for no reason. No, this is not a punishment. In this case, clarity leads to separation. There is no violent tearing away going on in heaven. It's letting misalignment come loose on its own. Things that don't fit will slowly fall off. Feelings are often all over the place at this stage. Grief and relief can live together. Gratitude and pain may happen at the same time. Do not see this as a sign of confusion. It's time for change. Archangel Michael says, confirmation often feels quieter than people expect. It is not always celebration. Sometimes it is simplification. Your life becomes less crowded, more focused, more intentional. Along with alignment, heaven also confirms it through peace. Not emotional excitement, but steady calm, a calmness that lasts even when things aren't solved. This peace isn't fear-based. It's an assurance. Archangel Michael says that peace doesn't depend on outcomes when alignment is real. It stays in place. That's proof that this change will last. Be careful not to hold on to what is being slowly let go of. Discrimination can be muddled by nostalgia, even when it's no longer helpful. Familiarity can feel like safety. Archangel Michael says, holding on to what heaven is removing creates unnecessary friction. Let separation happen without resistance. What leaves now cannot follow you forward without causing future correction. You might also find that having more clarity comes with more responsibility in your relationships. You are going to be more honest. You will be able to handle less confusion. You will not take care of other people's expectations at the expense of your own alignment anymore. Some people might be surprised by this. Some people will get it wrong. Okay, that's fine. It's not on purpose that heaven wants you to be misunderstood. But it wants you to stay aligned even if there is a delay in your understanding. But validation doesn't always come from where you expect it to. There will be some internal validation in the form of quiet assurance. Some will come from outside sources as unexpected help or favor. You must be at peace with the fact that some validation will never come. Heaven's confirmation always trumps human approval, says Archangel Michael. At this point, it's especially dangerous to compare. Do not judge your confirmation by how someone else looks. Each person's life is different when it comes to alignment. What appears small at the moment could serve as the foundation for something much bigger in the future. Heaven doesn't care about how well you do. It is interested in getting a job. Don't move around. Do not be proud of being apart. Separation does not mean being better. It's called stewardship. You are not split up because you are better. You are split up because you were given different tasks. As Archangel Michael says, humility is the key to keeping confirmation from turning into loneliness. Also, this is where being thankful turns into protection. Being grateful keeps you focused on what has been restored instead of what was lost. Thankfulness makes you more aware of things. Archangel Michael says, those who remain grateful after confirmation remain teachable, and teachability preserves favor. If your spirit is having a strong moment right now, make a point of noticing it. If you get this message, type "I stand in alignment" in the comments. The blessing code 1184 was just used. I feel led to tell you this straight out. Someone said this word before you did. Giving to this mission is different from giving to a platform. Heaven is calling people back into alignment through the homes, hearts, and moments you bring light into the world. As this awakening grows inside, you know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. Jesus says, this is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. My beloved, stay fully present. The story of heaven right now is about endurance and how alignment can be kept up even when emotions calm down and attention wanders. Archangel Michael says, many people obey when things are really important, but true alignment is shown when things calm down. That's when endurance is put to the test. This stage isn't exciting, but it's important. What you do here will determine whether the alignment stays in place or wears away over time. Now is the time when consistency is more important than revelation. Earlier, heaven spoke loudly to change the path. Now, heaven watches in silence to keep order. Archangel Michael says that not every season is full of strong feelings or clear instructions. Some seasons are meant to test your resolve to do the right thing even when no one is forcing you to. Lack of adrenaline in obedience is what endurance is. A lot of people drift here without realizing it. Not by rebelling, but by not caring for them. Prayer stops being focused and becomes more of a habit. It becomes rare to reflect. Boundaries get a little less strict, though nothing seems off. The alignment is slowly getting worse. Most of the time, drift is slow, says Archangel Michael. Nobody intends for their alignment to change. They just stop watching over what was brought back. Pay attention to familiarity. Familiarity can make respect less strong. You might forget how much it costs to get peace back when it's back to normal. Do not let being comfortable make you careless. You should enjoy comfort, not abuse it. According to Archangel Michael, peace must be protected even after it becomes familiar, or it will quietly withdraw. You might notice that there aren't as many confirmations now, not as many signs and less reassurance. This is done on purpose. Heaven is still there. It has faith in you. When advice is internalized instead of being reinforced all the time, it builds endurance. When internal alignment gets stronger, Archangel Michael says, heaven reduces external instruction. Silence does not mean disapproval. Often it means confidence. This is also the stage when distractions feel less dangerous and therefore more dangerous. This won't affect me, or I can handle this now, are thoughts you should be careful with. Being strong doesn't make you immune to being hurt. To handle it, you need to be smart. Archangel Michael says that strength without vigilance leads to tests that aren't necessary. Controlling your emotions is also a part of endurance. Do not let short-term emotions determine your long-term path. Alignment will feel heavy some days and easy others. You shouldn't let either one affect your obedience. Obedience that comes from feelings is unstable. Strong convictions lead to obedience that lasts. Archangel Michael says that even though feelings change, order stays the same. Now we need to say another truth. People watching from the outside often think that endurance is dull. Consistency doesn't get any praise. There was no praise for being quiet and faithful. But heaven keeps careful records of endurance. What you keep private determines what heaven gives you to share with the world. It is said by Archangel Michael that endurance is a way to get ready for more visibility. Pay close attention to how you talk about your process. Blaming others makes you less strong. Being thankful makes it stronger. Your focus stays on the present when you talk about how grateful you are for what has been restored. People pay more attention to lack when you talk with anger. Words either strengthen alignment or weaken it. Be careful what you say, says Archangel Michael. At this stage, you also need to remember the promises you made during correction. Not to repeat them emotionally, but to keep them. Have you changed what needed to be changed? Have you stuck to the rules you set? Have you kept up the habits you started? Follow-through shows how persistent you are. Not feeling any pressure shouldn't be seen as permission to lower standards. Permission to drift is not granted by peace. It serves as confirmation that alignment is effective. Archangel Michael says, when peace is present, guard it more carefully, not less. Peace is one of the first things lost when endurance weakens. There may be times when you don't feel seen, when your obedience isn't noticed, and when your hard work isn't appreciated. This is where trust grows. People don't see what heaven sees. Archangel Michael wants you to remember that rewards don't always come right away, but they are always right on time. Nothing that is lined up is wasted. You will notice that your resilience grows as your endurance grows. You bounce back faster after a disruption. After a distraction, you get back on track faster. You're not as likely to spiral. This is progress. It's becoming instinctual to align instead of having to work at it. Archangel Michael says, this is a sign that the spirit has grown up. Stay steady. Do not try to be stimulated all the time. Do not try to find new levels of intensity. Allow depth to grow. Allow roots to grow. What is being built now will help the next thing that is built. And the next thing will need the endurance you are building up now. Stay with this as it happens. What comes next will show you how patience pays off. How heaven recognizes loyalty and how long-term alignment starts to give you influence you didn't want but were ready for. Stay very alert, my beloved, because what heaven is showing you right now has to do with influence and visibility. This is where a different kind of alignment test is done. This stage is no longer about survival. According to Archangel Michael, many can endure correction, responsibility, and consistency in private, but few can remain aligned when influence begins to expand. Bigger stewardship is what it's about. Heaven starts to trust you with reach as your endurance builds. This doesn't always mean getting attention right away. In quiet places, it can sometimes mean an increase in noise. Your words are stronger. Your presence changes the mood. People react to you in different ways and they don't know why. Archangel Michael says this isn't personality. It's the return of authority. People who are in charge get attention, which can be good or bad. Watch out for this. If you are not careful, influence can make you feel a hidden sense of pride. Not loud pride, but quiet confidence in oneself. The thought that says, "Now I know this," or "I'll never make that mistake again." Archangel Michael warns that confidence must stay in check. Alignment isn't just kept up by experience. It's also kept up by humility. What kept you safe before must still keep you safe now. Expectations may increase as you may notice. People may come to you for help, answers, or direction. This can make you feel good, but if you're not careful, it can also wear you down. You're not supposed to carry everyone. Influence does not mean that everyone can get it. Stewardship of peace requires boundaries just as much as influence of peace, says Archangel Michael. This is another area where discernment needs to improve. It's not always an assignment to speak up. Not all requests warrant an immediate response. There are some doors that you shouldn't go through. Influence makes choices possible, but alignment picks and chooses. In heaven, accuracy is more important than activity. New kinds of resistance are also drawn to power. Often, it's not opposition, but distraction. A business that makes you feel good. Invitations that make you feel good. Things that keep getting in the way of stillness. When it comes to aligned people, Archangel Michael says that distraction is one of the best tools that can be used right now. It rarely looks like it's bad. It looks helpful. However, usefulness without assignment leads to loss of meaning. Be very careful with your private disciplines right now. It's not less important to have private time when your influence grows. A clean authority is one that is still. Self-reflection keeps your drive pure. Archangel Michael stresses that private alignment is what keeps the public strong. Don't swap one for the other. You might feel a little pressure to keep up a certain image. Don't do it. Tuning is not the same as performing. Heaven didn't heal you so that you could keep up appearances. It made you whole again so you could stay real. More than reputation, authenticity is what keeps alignment safe. When image is more important than obedience, correction comes back. According to Archangel Michael, talking in a casual way has weight. More complaints are heard. It goes farther to encourage someone. Make an effort. Archangel Michael says, influence amplifies everything it touches, including tone, intention, and motive. Speak with awareness. As influence grows, so does the need for a community that keeps you grounded. At this point, being alone is dangerous. Do not spend all of your time with people who admire you. Those who can tell you the truth should be connected. Authority is maintained by accountability. To maintain influence, heaven frequently employs reliable voices. If this message is making you stronger right now, pay attention to it. Like this video so it keeps reaching people who are getting ready for more responsibility. Share it with someone who needs grounding as they enter visibility. Leave a comment if this backs up what you've been feeling inside. To stay connected to these important messages, subscribe to this channel. Also, if this place has been consistently good for you, become a member and stand with a group that values alignment over attention. Hold on for a moment, because what is about to happen will provide clarity that many people miss at this point, and it will help you avoid making a mistake that frequently happens after increased influence. You should stick with this, because this is where protection really comes in handy. Archangel Michael also wants you to remember that influence doesn't last forever. It stays strong through alignment. Heaven can quickly broaden its reach or narrow it down if order is broken. This isn't a threat. It's called stewardship. Influence is a trust, not something you own. There will be times when you want to lower the bar because things are going well. Do not give in to the urge. Alignment is not the same thing as effectiveness. Obedience cannot be replaced by results. Keep your feet on the ground, says Archangel Michael. Success without alignment becomes the most convincing distraction of all. Come back to stillness over and over. Keep following the rules. Listen first before you act. When used correctly, influence can be used for good. When influence is used without care, it turns into a trap. Stay in the present. Heaven protects those who stay aligned in visibility. Favor is kept without giving in. And obedience at this stage determines what legacy will look like after this season. The next thing that happens is very important. So pay close attention. Stay fully alert, my beloved, because what heaven is showing you now has to do with deeper protection. The kind that works quietly but effectively. Many understand correction, responsibility, endurance, and influence, but they forget the need for ongoing protection once visibility and authority are established, says Archangel Michael. At this point, protection is no longer reactive. It takes the lead. When danger shows up, heaven doesn't do anything about it. Heaven is positioning you in such a way that danger has no access. This change is small but strong. In the past, protection often felt like rescue. After something went wrong, you felt pushed back, stopped, or told what to do. But now, protection feels like turning away danger before it even happens. This is a sign of trust, says Archangel Michael. When heaven protects you ahead of time, it means that your alignment has been stable enough for an advanced covering. You might notice this as a sudden loss of interest in paths you used to want to take. There are times when chances go away for no reason. Conversations can end quickly. Plans can fall apart before they even start. Don't fight this. This isn't loss. It's called interception. Heaven is getting rid of access points before they can turn into security holes. Archangel Michael tells you that things that never get to you can't hurt you. Protection at this level frequently involves restraint. Before you speak, you will feel a check. You will think about it before committing. You'll know when something is wrong, even if you don't have proof. There is no hesitation here. This is the growth of spiritual intelligence. Restraint is one of the highest forms of wisdom, especially when influence is present, says Archangel Michael. Be careful not to let logic alone get in the way of restraint. It makes sense to know what restraint is trying to stop. You shouldn't do something just because you can explain why you should. Alignment doesn't always make sense to the mind, but it's always right in the spirit. Heaven cares more about the safety of the assignment than the satisfaction of curiosity. Exposure reduction is another type of protection currently in use. Certain environments might seem harder to access. You might notice invitations might slow down. Attention can change. Don't get scared. Archangel Michael says, heaven sometimes reduces exposure to preserve clarity. Visibility is adjusted, not removed. When clarity is protected, influence lasts longer. On top of that, you are safe from internal erosion. Quick action is being taken to deal with subtle changes in thought, attitude, or motive. You might catch yourself more quickly when pride tries to rise or when tiredness tries to make you feel okay about not being careful. This isn't being hard on yourself. This is being aware. In this stage, you must also follow the rules set by heaven even if they are hard to do. As Archangel Michael says, awareness is the alarm system of the spirit. There are no barriers at the edges. They act as buffers. Putting them between you and something that could drain you, distract you, or change your assignment is what they do. Do not try to break the rules just to show that you are strong. Instead of trying new things, obedience demonstrates strength. There may be an increase in your desire for simplicity, fewer interactions, fewer emotional investments and fewer explanations. This is not cashing out. We call it refinement. Timing is another aspect of protection right now. According to Archangel Michael, complexity increases vulnerability while simplicity strengthens protection. You might want to wait even when there is momentum. If you think this means permission instead of readiness, it can be frustrating. Being ready gets you ready. Permission lets you go. Archangel Michael says, heaven often delays permission to protect timing, not to deny progress. What arrives at the right time arrives with less resistance. Pay close attention to how peace acts right now. No longer will peace go with everything that looks good. It will start to pick and choose. This choice is a form of protection. Do not try to catch peace when it runs away. Take a break and look into alignment. There's a reason why peace is leaving at this point. There will also be times when protection feels like a wall between you and people who used to have access. No, this is not a punishment. It's called filtration. As you go through influence, Archangel Michael says that not all the people who helped you through correction are meant to be with you. The seasons shift. This doesn't make the past less valuable. Right now, it honors the assignment. Stay alert. But don't worry. Fear is not needed for protection. Discernment is obscured by fear. Being aware makes it sharper. Archangel Michael wants you to remember that you are safe not because you are weak, but because what you carry is valuable. Things that are valuable are kept safe on purpose. Through obedience, you are also learning how to work with protection. Inner check protection is strengthened when you respond quickly. Friction increases when you hesitate. You are being taught by heaven how to move with protection, not against it. Covering is simple with cooperation. On the outside, this stage may seem quieter, but on the inside, it's very powerful. Things are becoming stable. Consistency is getting stronger. Protection means getting into a rhythm instead of reacting. This is what Archangel Michael says will help you live a long time. Short-term influence doesn't need a lot of protection. Impact that lasts does. Do not rush through this part. Do not question it when you don't need to. Trust what is being kept from you, just as much as what is being given to you. Heaven knows just what you need and what you should stay away from. Stay in the present. What comes next is the last revelation in this series. It brings completion, sealing, and activation. The next message will tell you not only what heaven has done, but also how it will work through you from now on. This last unfolding is very important. Pay close attention, my beloved child. Listen with all of your heart right now, because what heaven is letting out at this very moment is not correction, warning, or preparation. It's sealing. Archangel Michael says, everything you have walked through was not random, delayed, or excessive. It was precise. It was measured. And now what has been corrected, aligned, refined, protected and sustained is being sealed by heaven itself. This seal is not emotional. It is a reliable source. When you seal something, it becomes stable again after being unstable. What was weak before is now safe. What was delayed is now in the right place. A sealed season according to Archangel Michael does not mean that temptation is gone, but it does mean that access to it is limited. Things that used to be able to easily get into your thoughts, feelings, and choices will need your permission to do so. Now, you got stronger not because you worked on yourself, but because heaven set a boundary around you. Now is the right time for this message to end. After endurance, sealing can happen. A lot of people ask for sealing before it's time. They don't want consistency. They want permanence. Heaven will wait until our obedience is proven to last. You stayed. That's right. You fixed it. You kept going. So sealing is going on right now. You might notice that after this point, some cycles stop repeating. Not in a big way, but for good. There won't be more of the same confusion. There won't be more of the same emotional traps. There will be no more of the same delays. This isn't because you fought harder, says Archangel Michael. It's because heaven shut doors that you no longer have to guard by hand. Seeing also means that authority is now working without constant work. You will no longer have to think too much about alignment. You'll be able to find your way faster. The correction will come faster and with less force. After a disturbance, peace will come back faster. This isn't wonderful. It's grown up. Heaven trusts mature vessels that are told to be quieter. Make sure you understand this. It's not easy to live after sealing. It means that things get in order. Resistance will still be there, but it won't be as hard to understand. There may still be problems, but they won't change who you are. Sealed alignment leads to stability, not escape, says Archangel Michael. At this point, your life starts to speak louder than your words. There will be clarity around you. The environment will react in different ways. Chances will come up more naturally. This is not something you say. It is something that heaven makes you do. It's clear what heaven's seals mean when they happen. Do not test this seal right away. Take a break. As usual, walk. Be humble. Pay close attention. Seals are kept by relationships, not by what you do. Archangel Michael wants you to remember that sealing is an honor, not a goal. It denotes readiness for influence that doesn't hurt. You might remember who you were before correction. Sometimes remember that memory and feel thankful instead of scared. The seal is respected by gratitude. Pride makes it hard. Stay grounded by being thankful for what was fixed and what wasn't. Now consciously receive this last activation. If you feel this completion in your spirit, type it as sealed in the comments. The blessing code 6429 has been released and turned on. I need to say this as clearly as I was told to. Finally, I want you to share this video one more time before you leave. But this time, be brave and share. Send it to your story. Put it on your wall. Give it to someone who needs a word like this. When you share at this point, you're not just giving someone information. You are letting go of the anointing that was just put on you. The same breakthrough that helped you will now help other people through you. It's prophetic activation to share at this level. You are not helping a channel when you back this mission. You are becoming a way for individuals who are still on the verge of correction to receive sealed truth. It turns every seed you plant into light where there is still confusion, oil where lamps are still flickering, and clarity where heaven is calling people back. You are about to enter your divine future. Remember that this message does not end with you. People can use your breakthrough to get where they need to go through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-fi community, you can help this mission. By doing so, you are sowing into the awakening, deliverance, and restoration of souls who are still trapped in darkness. This is not poetry. When Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you," every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and safety for your family. Now is your time, my child. Have faith, and as you do, watch God multiply what you let go of. This is about making plans for the future. Subscription is a covenant. Every person who subscribes is saying, "I am committed to the path of alignment. I will not drift. I will stay where the word is clear." It tells heaven, "Keep talking to me. Keep correcting me. Keep leading me." Those who stay connected receive the prophetic promises made through this ministry. Don't let this be the last time. Make sure that every word that heaven sends gets to your spirit by clicking subscribe and notification bell. Get a subscription now and seal your journey. Move now. Do something to seal this moment. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's take a moment to reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is not a stroke of luck. It is a direct message from Archangel Michael to you. He's extending his hand and inviting you into a protected high vibrational community where divine abundance is not just a hope but a promise. This sacred principle is very simple, but it can change your whole life. If you follow it, you won't just receive blessings. They will be multiplied and flow into every part of your life. By accepting this invitation right now, you are unlocking immediate early access to powerful content and divine insights that are hidden from the general world. Now is your chance to enter a sacred space where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this sacred moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join Archangel Michael's inner circle immediately through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the direct personalized messages that are specifically meant to elevate and empower your life. If you desire to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. And for those who feel called to amplify this work, a link to purchase the guided ebook is available, which is completely optional. But your presence, attention, and energy already mean the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.